Welcome to Hero's Journey Physio Fitness. Our mission is to empower, inspire, and mentor people to reclaim their health and become self-reliant in their fitness. I'm your host, Dr. Cameron Hogue. Join with me as my co-host, Annabelle Rios.
All right, guys, we are going live in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to another episode of Hero's Journey. No guest today. You just have to sit through Annabelle and I shooting from the hip and
we're shooting fast. Rapid fire.
No, but again, like we always say, like, subscribe to the podcast. If you find it helpful, share it.
We're trying to grow our Twitter audience, by the way. It's kind of low.
Our Twitter's low, so help out Twitter, YouTube. We are starting to have more with the interviews, video because of Zoom and all that. So you'll actually be able to. Some people just like seeing the video versus just audio.
Yeah, and we're not sponsored by Zoom yet.
There's a big yet in there.
Oh yeah.
But anyway, we thought this would be hopefully a very helpful episode.
I think so.
We're not gonna go through a lot of statistics or research
Because a lot of this we've already covered in the past. Up to this one will be 20-ish episodes, so...
Yeah, 22 episodes.
Yeah, so...
And but I think these are really helpful because we talk a lot about mindset and just knowing things. So what we have for you today is 10 things that we wish we would have known prior to starting our health and fitness journey. Now, we had a lot. We had to actually squeeze it down to 10. There were so many, but we really do think this is
there's a lot.
This is a banger list here. And we are going to start from, I guess, descending order. We're going to start at 10 and work our way down to 1. That way, maybe, if you don't know how to use the fast forward button, you have to kind of sit through some of these to get to our number 1. But they're all good.
We disable that feature. You have to sit through the whole thing.
But they're all really good. So starting at number 10, again, on 10 things we wish we would have known prior to starting our health and fitness journey. Start us off with number 10, Annabelle.
It's a journey, not a destination.
So, journey's in our name. But you would have thought before, or like that most people would consider health and fitness a journey. But man, I did not.
Nope.
I was the destination kind of guy. It was, well, first of all, I was never consistent until recently when I got to physical therapy school and started actually learning a lot about the body. And so unfortunately, I feel like my journey started a little bit later in terms of consistency. But man, before that, it was, you do this workout in the fall with a baseball team and then you stop. And then, you buy a little cookie cutter program before summer and you work out for 2 months and then you stop. And you're always seeing it as like, I just do this for a short amount of time. I'll hit what I quote unquote think I want, so to speak, as in terms of like a destination, and then you stop. And it's not that way.
No, I agree. Or you would start different programs or different things, and then, all right, I got the results that I wanted. It's like you never saw the bigger picture. It's like you think of a race and you say, okay, my goal is to run a mile, and that once I hit that mile, I'm done. But then you realize, man, it's a marathon. You're doing this for the rest of your life. Okay, you hit your goal of 405. You hit your goal of certain number on the scale. And you're like, okay, I'm done. Boom.
One of the things that I kind of see a lot. So like I ask my patients when I see them, like, do you exercise beyond your activities of daily living? Like I don't even care if it's walks, but are you doing something beyond just doing things in the house and around the yard? And you know what they say most of the time, Annabelle? I used to. Back in high school, I did this, or a couple years ago I did Weight Watchers and went to the Y. Well, what have you been doing currently? It's almost like if they're seeing their fitness or their health is like, I hit that destination, I did that for a while. Does it not still carry over? And it's like, no, this thing is a journey. You can't just check a box and say, I got fit and then I'm good the rest of my life, or I'm seeing it as terms of these stop and goes.
Well, it kind of just reminds you of, you hear of a lot of those pro athletes where, like, we'll talk about football, for instance. Their goal is I want to win a Super Bowl. And then after they get there, or they want to go compete in the Olympics. And then once they get there, it's like they're almost hit with depression. It's like, well, now what do I even do with my life? It's just they were so consumed with the destination, which is that's wrong. But you got to think it's bigger than that.
So I think one thing, if we can just impart to everyone listening here, is even if you've started, just make sure you're seeing it as a process and a journey. And again, we're always trying to get people to see themselves as the hero in their own journey. But think of it that way and think long term, not short term.
Yeah, and you can have goals along the way and different stop points. But that's what it is. It's a stop point. But you keep going.
You keep going. So I think that's a great mindset shift. And it actually will help you enjoy the process too, where you actually enjoy eating good. You enjoy going to the gym. You enjoy doing more activities and stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely. What's the next one, Doc?
All right. So that was number 10. Number 9. Man, this one was big for me. You are not going to look like a bodybuilder. You're not going to look like a bodybuilder, but there's a big but.
There's 2 buts in this one.
Lifting will give you more confidence. It will give you a better body. It will give you better health. But if you are going into this mindset of looking at Arnold Schwarzenegger, looking at some of these guys on magazines or gals, let me just tell you right now, you are not going to look like a bodybuilder. Couple of reasons why.
Here's the other but.
Yes. So there is a genetic component to a lot of this. Some people have way better genetics. You can do the same program. You can lift the same amount of weight. You can do it for the same amount of years.
Follow everything to a T.
And some person is still going to look way more jacked, way more shredded than you because of genetics. Now, that's not to say that you can't improve. Obviously, you can.
That you shouldn't try to get better.
But don't look at the cover of these magazines and expect that is the pinnacle of health and fitness. It's not. Most bodybuilders die young. A lot of the times because of steroids. So steroids are very prevalent in the bodybuilding space. It's very prevalent in the fitness influencer space. Mm-hmm. No one is going to tell you, I'm on steroids and that's the reason I look like this. Okay, so buy my program and buy my supplements. Here's a good point. Why would you buy a book from a guy who's 7 feet tall on how to get taller? Bro, you're not going to get any taller.
Listen, it's all in the milk. Trust me.
So you're not going to get any taller. So you can't change your genetics. Now you can improve upon them. You can look really good, but it's going to take a lot longer than.
That is another point, man. The timing of this.
That's why you got to think of it as a journey because you are not going to get ripped and shredded in a year.
Or like the whole 90-day body transformation.
You can again. I don't want this to be disappointing. You can change your physique. You can lose a bunch of weight. You can get on the right track. You can drastically change how you look. But if you are wanting to like really put on a lot of mass, strength, cut a lot of body fat out, it's gonna take years.
Yeah.
And don't compare yourself. Comparison is the thief of joy. Don't compare yourself to bodybuilders. You're not going to look like them. They've got drugs and genetics over you. And please do not take drugs. Do not take drugs. Not only is it bad for your organs like your kidneys and liver, but it's not good for your tendons. The rate of muscle growth and strength is way faster than what your tendons can keep up with. And that's where you have a lot of muscle and tendon tears, like those big pec tears or bicep tears or rotator cuff tears.
Did you hear about that one bodybuilder that said he unfortunately has passed away? He's like, at some point when you get so big, he was big, like muscle-wise, not big as in fat-wise, but he's like, at some point the body doesn't recognize the difference between fat and muscle.
Yeah.
Because he was big. I can't remember who he was, but
sometimes our frames aren't meant to be that big. Now, there again, like Dwayne Johnson, he's a genetic outlier. He's also most likely on drugs. But, like, you're not 6'6". You don't have that kind of frame. Don't look up to his physique and think that you're going to look like that. And, again, you can drastically change your physique and your health. It will give you more confidence.
Way more confidence.
It will make you stronger and more healthy and have bigger muscles. But, guys, we got to cut that out now. Yeah. You're not going to look like that. Stop it. It's only going to make you more depressed. It's only going to make it more It's only going to hinder your journey and process if that's what you're aspiring to look like.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, that was just a little
No, I
Debbie
think it
Downer
needed to
there.
be cleared up. Because to your point, you see all these influencers, bodybuilders, proclaiming all these great results and almost like promising you, but like you said, genetics, roids, all these other factors that go into it.
And I'm not going to take away from their hard work. That's not what we're trying to say
Because
here.
yes, you still need to go out there into the gym. It's not like you can just start juicing and you're gonna wake up ripped.
Yeah. There was a study that did look at people that juiced and didn't lift, and they got bigger and stronger than the people that lifted and didn't take.
Gosh.
But again, don't do it. All right, Annabelle, hit us with number 8.
All right. Lifting can actually help you in your sport, not hinder you. I think a lot of times in most sports you would say it's like, oh no, it's gonna mess up my technique of my sport or my form, or it's gonna hurt me and I'm gonna be
I heard that one so much growing up because I played baseball, and it was like, why spend time in the gym when you could go practice your swing or working on, drills or throwing and like trying to build up your arm strength? And it's like, all that's going to do is take time away from that. And then it could change your patterns up.
Yeah.
It could make you it can make you less mobile, and you won't be able to, all these different things. Like, I heard that so much.
I feel like that you hear that in all sports, maybe except for football.
Maybe less in football and maybe wrestling, but maybe some of the other ones, baseball, soccer, tennis, things like that, where maybe you don't need to be like 200 pounds of muscle.
I mean, even when I was in wrestling, it was predominantly calisthenics or carrying your partner, but we weren't really doing like barbell exercises.
Gotcha.
Not much. A lot of it was just fireman carries, carrying your partner, and things like that, and just a lot of calisthenics. But man, we've talked about this before. I wish I would have prioritized strength training more for sports.
One of my biggest regrets. I mean, I look back and say, I am like, it's kind of crazy. Back when in high school and college, you're just, what is it? A hormonal cesspool.
Filled with testosterone,
like
man.
you're just ready to make gains. And, I just blew it. I just didn't do it. I mean, like, I did it for whatever the sport for that season was, but nothing consistent, never prioritized it. And honestly, it was kind of like, this is actually hindering you. Don't focus on it too much. Get back in the batting cage. And that's one of my biggest regrets. I wish that were prioritized, and I know for a fact it would have only helped everything else about my sport.
Yep.
Again, think about it this way. If you can squat 135 pounds versus 300 pounds, I think you're going to generate a little bit more power out of your legs when you swing or when you kick or when you whatever.
Yeah.
But again, we don't, it's not being taught.
Especially not at that age, because then it's like, oh, well, here's another one. Oh, stunt your growth spurt, and you're still growing. That's another one too. Like, so you shouldn't be lifting.
Yeah. That's a false thing that goes around. But I would say if you can prioritize lifting a little bit more than just adding in more drills and practice to your sport, it is only gonna help.
And not that
wish I would have known that.
Yeah, not that those things aren't important. They are, but this would have really helped you.
Yeah. All right. Hit us with number 7, Annabelle.
Number 7. It's going to blow your mind, guys. You can lose weight without doing cardio.
Dun, dun, dun.
How's that even possible, Doc?
I feel like this one is not only just commonly, like, people don't know, it's almost a misconception. It's like when people go to the gym, I mean, look at most gyms. What type of equipment do you see the most? Like, if you look at percentages, you see a lot of cardio equipment. You see it's getting better.
Treadmills are everywhere.
You see less squat racks, less barbells.
You have to fight with the squat rack, man. There's like 2 in the gym.
Now it's getting better. I think there's a lot of awareness going out in the space and all that kind of stuff. But if you look at it, there's way more cardio stuff and way more people on those equipment than the other pieces of equipment.
Yeah, this gym I used to go to, there was like 2 squat racks. And the people who are using the squat rack, like, bro. And there's like one deadlift.
They're gonna roid rage on you and slap
there's
you
like
out of there.
one deadlifting platform. And there's like a few bench stations, like to actually do bench press. And it's like, come on.
Yeah, and some gyms don't even have deadlifting stations and stuff
No.
like that.
It's a lot of those machines. That's what I did a lot back in the day. It's like a lot of those machines, like, oh, I hit bench on the machine, I hit arms and this and that, and just like, ugh.
But that's a common misconception. I would actually say back in the day when I went on this huge endurance athlete type training program where I was running half marathons and
Mhm.
biking 30 to 40 miles, and I was really only doing that kind of stuff, I lost a lot of muscle. I lost a bunch of weight, but
That's so true.
I
Don't
lost
you
a
lose
lot.
muscle first when you do a lot of those high endurance sports?
You can. I mean, you can.
Obviously not always, but
But a lot of the times you're burning calories, not necessarily from a specific source. Like people think cardio burns fat, and it's like not really. I mean, cardio essentially just burns calories, and it doesn't really necessarily care which one it's from. Like it will burn fat, obviously, but cardio isn't giving you the stimulus to build muscle, if that makes sense.
mm-hmm.
So like if you're weight training, you're giving the body the stimulus to build muscle, but you're also burning calories too. So
Right.
there's the difference is cardio doesn't give you that. I mean, look at a marathoner. Just look around and then look at somebody who lifts weights and just tell me the difference in their physique. And I'm not saying that this is all about physique. Cardio
Yeah.
is great, but it's not the only way to lose weight. And you can lose weight without cardio.
Yeah, I guess maybe I know we've talked about it in episodes, but quickly explain like what's a calorie and why we're saying that you don't need to do cardio to lose weight.
Okay, so that leads us into number 6 on
It's
our...
like this is like 7B, and then we'll get into sits more into.
Yeah, so this
Specifically.
is really going to explain the whole you can lose weight without cardio. So our number 6 was diets are mostly about calories, either deficit, maintenance, or, being in a surplus, and not necessarily the foods that you eat.
Yep.
And that's why diets work in terms of changing your body composition. Now, we are a huge proponent in eating healthy foods, but that's why you can lose weight without cardio. If you are just in a calorie deficit, which calorie is a unit of energy, think of calorie as fuel.
Mm-hmm.
If you are giving your body less fuel, your body is going to pull from its storage fat in order to keep you at the baseline and or what you're demanding of your body. Now, if you are overfueling, then your body's going to use what it needs to use, and then all the extra is going to put into storage, like for a rainy day. Like, I don't really need all this fuel right now. I'm going to store it. Typically stores it as fat. So cardio doesn't necessarily, cardio helps you burn calories, but you don't necessarily need that. You could just go into a calorie deficit.
Yep. This one is, I really wish I would have known about this. It would have saved me going through like a million different diets. Because I think that every year there's like a new fad diet. Whether it's there was paleo for a while, there was keto, there was Whole30, there was going vegetarian, going vegan, going this, going that, intermittent fasting, blah 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 blah. At the end of the day, all of them, and even elimination, that all of them in one way or another are doing what we just said, reducing calories.
Exactly.
Boom.
Now, you might have certain conditions where you need to be on more of a certain type of diet.
Yeah.
That's not really what we're
not
talking about that. Like if you have, some sort of autoimmune or some sort of gut issue, like
this is strictly
fat loss, muscle gain. It does not matter. All that matters is the calories that you're getting in.
Yeah, and we're not going to be like those people. It is a numbers game, and you can eat junk food and lose weight, but please don't.
Yeah, they did a study where they had a guy eat McDonald's, and he stayed below his calorie maintenance. He was in a deficit. Guess what, Annabelle? He lost weight.
Yeah, it won't be fun because you'll be hungry and whatnot.
But he also there was also other things that happened with him too in terms of his health. So we're not recommending that, but that's why diets work.
Yeah, and that's why we want to say this. Like, just stop the fad. I guess when I'm referring to that, I'm talking about these fad diets that you see every single year in the magazine. Oh, this person's on an apple diet, and there's the military diet, and it's just stop.
Yeah, just calories in, calories out.
Yeah.
There's a few things that can affect that. I mean, we've done so many posts on this. We literally just had one on better fat loss. We posted on our Instagram.
Yeah.
We were talking about just being a slight calorie deficit. You shouldn't feel like you're cutting. You do run that for a little bit. Lose some weight. Avoid some processed sugars. You'll be set.
Yeah.
Don't complicate this.
Keep it simple.
Keep it simple. Kind of related to diets and stuff. What's number 5, Annabelle?
The importance of protein. I wish I would have known this when I was younger. I was not consuming enough protein. I'll just say it like that. I was not.
Most underconsumed macronutrient in most diets.
Yet it is the building block
of almost all tissue.
Of all tissue.
Especially muscle.
Especially muscle, which is the one that I love the most. I'm a protein monster now.
But we wish we would have known to prior, and that doesn't mean just taking a protein shake. Like, obviously it can mean that. But we're talking about when you're looking at your meals. You know, looking at your plate, is half your plate protein and the other half?
Yeah, that's what we've advised.
That's what we advise. And that's what we mean by prioritizing, or the importance of it. It's not saying you need to take all of it from supplements, which we've done a podcast on supplements, but we're saying looking at what you're eating, how much protein is in that, how healthy is this, like all these different things, but prioritize that.
I mean, it goes like, let's say some people are like, I've been working out, I'm not really gaining a lot of muscle. It could be for a few reasons, but maybe start looking at your protein. Are you eating enough grams of protein?
Mm-hmm. And are they from high quality? Don't eat a bunch of hot dogs. That's what we're saying. Get some grass-fed, grass-raised ground beef, chicken, lean meats. Don't eat, Hot Pockets that say they've got.
And you can use supplements, but we always say try to get it mostly from foods.
Yeah.
Whole foods, high protein sources, good protein sources.
And guess what, people? Taking protein powders and even creatine, it's safe and it's not cheating.
No.
There are so many people who have, obviously some people cycle, but who've been taking protein powders and creatines their entire life. And guess what? They're still alive and doing well.
Yep.
So, and again, we've done a whole episode. So you want to get the quality stuff, don't just get junk. But like anything else, do your research, prioritize protein.
Yes.
Okay. What's number 4?
Ooh. 4 and 3 kind of go a little bit hand in hand.
What's not? Yeah.
But technique matters, especially when it comes to compound lifts. I think that first thing, compound lifts are when you're engaging a lot of different muscles with a movement, and they're great. But a lot of times people have bad form, and then they just stop that lift. Stop that movement overall, even though there's so many benefits. So some of the compound lift is squat, deadlift, bench, power clean, standing overhead press, etc. But they're great for you. But the thing is, you need to be aware of is that you need to have good technique. Yeah. So maybe you start with like an empty bar, or like a broomstick or something. Work on the movements.
So yeah. So let's just say, and we actually just, last episode we did one with Dr. Rutledge, and he talked about CrossFit and how a lot of times they've got classes on how to start and working on technique and stuff like that. But let's just say you are one of those individuals where you want to do this on your own. This is what I would recommend for you, and you're not wanting to hire a personal trainer or anything like that. I would do some research. Go to YouTube, look at, quite a few different videos on how to perform a barbell squat. Look at them. See what's similar about all of them. See what's different. Kind of take the happy medium of everything. Okay. Then start practicing in front of a mirror. Most gyms have a mirror. Then start recording yourself from the back, from the side. You can and in between sets, look at that recording. It's not a douchebag move to record yourself, especially if you're just trying to hone in on your technique. I did this all the time, where I would just record myself from the side, from the back, and I would look, I shifted a little bit away there. The barbell was a little bit low there. I didn't drive my knees out. And you're giving yourself these external cues between sets on how to change your form. Look at the video that you saw, look at what it looks like when you do it, and then adapt. Now, again, there's not saying it's that easy and, you might not need help, but if you're one of those people that want to do this on your own, record yourself.
Yeah, record yourself, and there's so many videos out there.
Send it to us. We'll form check you.
Yeah, do that. Yeah, DM us.
DM us, email us, send us the video. We'll critique your form for you. But you got to record it.
Yeah, you got to record and send it. There was one lift that for me was bench press. I think we've talked about it. It used to always, my wrist, I'm like, I hate benji because my wrists are always killing me.
Dude, same.
And it was this subtlety where the bar was in the palm of my hand instead of
more over your wrist.
More over my wrist. And it was a slight tilt inward. And that did it for me. And
same here. I could only like max out at like 185 pounds because of how bad it was killing my wrist growing up. And like you said, we kind of saw the change in our form, and
yeah, now that's not a limiting factor for me. It's wrist pain.
Yeah,
and that's why I was like, well, I'm just gonna go to the machines and do the chest machine and do the other chest machine because I don't have any pain when I do that.
Right. So technique, record yourself. If you need to hire somebody, send it to us. We'll critique you. Which leads us to number 3.
Yeah, we touched on it a little bit, but talk to us a little bit about compound lift and why they might be better to consistently do over isolation movements.
Yeah, so something we wish we would have known is to prioritize compound lifts.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what that means is, as Annabelle said, you're recruiting more muscle. So think about your squats, your deadlifts, bench press. So you could go to a pec fly machine or the cable column machine and work your pecs, right? You're working other muscles too, obviously, but the big emphasis is pecs. Now you look at bench press. Not only is bench press working your chest, it's working your triceps, it's working your anterior delt, it's working a muscle called your serratus anterior, which is stabilizing your scapula. It's working a bunch of different muscles, and that's what we'd call a compound lift versus quote-unquote an isolation lift, which is like the pec fly machine, where you're just solely isolating the pecs. Now, those are great. You can do those things, but the key is you're not going to get stronger. You got to do the compound lifts because you can lift more weight, therefore getting stronger, and we'll kind of get into this in the next one. But it's the best way because you can recruit the most muscle and you can increase your strength, therefore increasing your size, and then use your isolation lifts as your supplements. Like, okay, I want to round out the chest a little bit more. Now I'm going to do chest flies, but don't just prioritize chest flies over.
Dude, that was me.
Bench press.
I was on the machines in high school. I used to do more for kind of like a bodybuilder split, chest, back, arms, legs, but it was all on the machines, and
you were leaving gains on the table, man.
Yeah, I was leaving so many gains because you will go down on the pins a little bit, but man, if I would have done more compound lifts,
yeah,
the numbers would have gone up.
And something we wish we'd have known. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind.
We're not saying don't do isolation lifts, but prioritize compound.
Absolutely. Okay. Number 2, Annabelle. What's number 2?
This is a big one. Progressive overload.
It's huge. Ask yourself, if you are doing the same weight a year from now, you're not progressive. And again, unless I'm not talking about injuries and stuff like that, you are not progressively overloading.
Okay. This frustrates me thinking back. But were you the 3 times 10 guy?
3 times 10.
Oh my gosh. Was that just like a high school thing that everybody's like, yeah, I'm just doing 3 times 10?
Yeah, like, I don't know, in high school, it's like, okay, it's a bench workout for baseball. Last time I put the 45s on each side, so I'm going to do that today.
3 times 10.
And 3 times 10. And you don't ever think about, well, what if I put a little bit more weight on the bar next time? And then what if I put a little bit more weight on the bar the following time? And you don't even think about those things.
And sometimes you would do that, but not consistently. It's like, I need to do 3 times 10 we'll use your example, at 135 for a whole month. And then I can go up. But you're like, no. You're leaving so much on the table.
It's, people get into a routine. I go to this machine, I do this much weight, and then I move to this machine, and I do this much weight, and then I grab the dumbbell, and I always do this much weight. And it's like, guys, fantastic. I'm glad you're in the gym. I'm glad you're moving.
Yeah, because it's better than not.
It's better than not. But if you are not seeing progress, it's probably because you're not progressively overloading the muscles.
Do a quick recap of how somebody could do that.
Okay. Well, what this means is like, so you give your body a stimulus, which is the weights. You're lifting weights or some sort of activity. Your body's going to sink down a little bit because you broke it down. Now you need to recover with some good food and rest. And your body says, I don't want that to happen again to me. So I'm going to go a little bit above baseline. So that next time that same stimulus hits, I'm going to be ready for it, and it's not going to deplete me as much. So then if you do the same stimulus, your body's not going to be depleted. It already adapted to that. To trick it, you have to keep progressing, which you can do that by, easy way, adding more weight.
That's the easiest way, in my
Easiest
opinion.
way, adding more weight. So if you did 135 pounds, the next time you should try 140 pounds. Again, keeping with you hit all your reps, all your sets, and you have good technique. Another way you can do that is add more repetitions. Now, guys, we did a whole episode on progressive overload, so we don't want to belabor the point here.
Yeah, we just want to give a quick recap on that.
But if you did 3 sets of 10 with 135, next time try 3 sets of 12, and then try 3 sets of 15, and just keep progressing that way. But the easiest way is just add weight.
Oh, maybe a sub point. I don't really. There were so many different sayings that we wanted to talk about, but maybe rep ranges. Maybe don't always stick with the same rep range. Play around, go high, or maybe go low.
Go low. Another thing with that progressive overload, and this is something I wish I would have known, is that muscle size generally speaking, muscle size follows strength. Okay? And this is what I mean by that. You want to get big, you want to get strong, you want to get big muscles. You ain't going to do that by squatting 135 pounds. You got to be increasing your weight. You want your legs to be big, give it a reason to get big. You have to get stronger, and then the size will follow. Okay?
Yeah.
Build the strength and the size will follow. But if you can't squat more than 135 pounds and your legs are little, your legs are going to stay little until you start increasing the weight and getting stronger.
And that's why we were saying it's a little bit easier to aggressively overload with adding weight to the bar.
Yeah.
Than more reps. I mean, you can try it that way, but adding more weights.
But don't deceive yourself by saying, well, I'm just going to do more volume. Like, again, volume is a way to potentially grow size. I'm not saying it's not.
Mm-hmm.
But there has to still be a level. Like, look at all the bodybuilders. They are still moving some serious weight around.
Oh, yeah.
Now, are they doing their bodybuilder sets, like 3 sets, 4 sets of 8 to 12? Yeah. But they're also benching hundreds of pounds more than you are. So stop doing their workouts. Start with building your strength. And then you can start trying to play around with bodybuilder workouts. But guys, muscle size, generally speaking, follows strength. Build your strength, the size will follow. I wish I would have known that.
I love that.
So that was number 3, and that was number 2. We are now on number
1. This is the biggest one, guys. Out of all of these, is that consistency is the most important thing.
Consistency is
you
the
can
most
be
important
doing
thing.
a terrible workout program, but if you're consistently doing it, you're probably going to see results. Maybe not as best results possible, but
good beats great if great isn't consistent.
But you're going to see better results in the person that's going consistently working out.
Yeah, if you're consistently inconsistent, you are not going to make good results.
Nope.
So, consistency is king. It's key. Whatever phrase you want to put it at is just be consistent. And that ties into that number 10, which is see it as a journey.
Yeah. Because I feel like a lot of times people don't have a plan post, quote unquote, like we've been talking about, destination. It's like maybe they're consistent for 90 days because they have a big event or they're getting married. You know, something that's going to is motivating them to be consistent for a little bit. But then afterward, they're inconsistent. You're not seeing the big picture. You're not going to be able to fully see.
Your destination training, not
destination training. Yeah.
Ooh, we should coin that.
We'll coin that, destination training. But it's true. Then you stop and then you're like, oh man, I fell off the wagon. What happened? Blah blah blah.
Yeah. So guys, in order, from 10 to 1.
One thing
what's up?
with inconsistency. That for me is that, you know, when you're first starting out, all right, you say, it's so easier when you're in shape to do X, Y, or Z. It'll get easier once I get to that point. But here's the thing that for me was huge to realize. Because I was out of shape for a while, and then you're huffing and puffing, and it's hard. But if you're doing progressive overload, it's still gonna be hard.
It's still gonna be hard.
It's just gonna be a
Different
different kind of hard. And that for me was just, when I learned that, it was like, oh wait a minute. There's not this magical play just because sometimes, I don't know, you're out of shape. You see somebody like, man, it's so easy for them to do what they're doing. It's like, well, what they're doing, it's more challenging and it's still hard for them. So not to discourage people that it's always still going to be hard, but it's true. And another thing about consistency, motivation will come, will go.
Mm-hmm.
Some days you're just motivated to do it, and other days you're not motivated to do it, but you do it. That's what's important. Being consistent.
Yep. It's facts don't care about your feelings.
No.
Facts are you got to be consistent. Feelings and motivation come and go.
Yeah, so don't rely on motivation too much.
So number 10, things that we wish we would have known prior to starting our health and fitness journey. Number 10, it is a journey, not a destination. Number 9, you are never going to look like a bodybuilder, but lifting gives you more confidence. Number 8, lifting would have helped me in my sport and not hindered me. Number 7, you can lose weight without cardio. Number 6, diets are mostly about calories, whether deficit, maintenance, or surplus, not necessarily the few foods you eat, and that's why they work. Number 5, prioritizing and the importance of protein. Number 4, technique matters, especially for the compound lifts. Number 3, prioritize compound lifts.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2, progressive overload. Muscle size follows strength. Number 1, consistency is the most important thing.
Boom.
Boom.
Guys, if you're in high school right now, man,
We wish we could be you.
we wish we would have known this. You're welcome.
So it might sound basic, but these are the best things that we could pass on that we feel like we wish we would have known.
And I think this can help anybody, anywhere, I guess wherever they may be when it comes to starting their journey and at any age. This can help you all the way through. Do you have anything else, Doc, that you want to share?
Man, that's all that I got for today.
All right, guys, like we always like to tell you, remember, you are human. We should not seek perfection, but daily improvement.
All right, see you guys.
See you guys.